Hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. To make my Zen garden, I'm just using a cardboard box. So I've got this cardboard box which is 1/2 centimeter thick, and I'm going to be measuring out on my cardboard box 52 centimeters by 52 centimeters. So you need quite a large cardboard box for this. So my box is not quite big enough, so what I'm doing is I'm measuring along the line where the box collapses up like that. And then on the other side of this line here, I'm going to be measuring the distances of 3 centimeters and then 2, 2.5, 1 centimeter, and then that's where I'll be cutting this particular section because that will give me the sides of the box. So the way I've marked the box is, so that's where the join is on the box. So what I've done is I've folded the box up and marked it exactly where it folds to give me my first measurement. And then we measure it like that. So that's our first line of 3 centimeters. Now, because this box is going to be turned over, what I'm going to do is I'm going to score this line first to see how well it turns to measure the next one of 2 centimeters. So it gives us quite a nice clean crisp turn. So now I can mark the next one, which is 2 centimeters. So once again, folding the box back up again and just marking exactly where your bend is and then measuring from that point. If your mark is before a groove, because it bends much better inside the groove, so I'm going to make it just a tiny bit bigger because I want it to bend inside that groove. So it's about 2.1 centimeters. And then score that as well and bend it. And the last line that we're drawing is the cut line. So that's the line that we're going to be cutting on. So from the original fold line, when the box closes up, from that point there, you're going to be measuring 34 centimeters across, and that's where we're going to put the next mark. And where you've marked your next marking at the 34 centimeter, you're going to score that line as well and bend it inward, so towards the other side. Once you've scored your line and bent your cardboard, now where it bends over again from that point, measure your 2.1 centimeter, and as you can see, it's going right into the center of, just past the fold there, so this one's going to fold quite nicely as well. So we're going to score that one, and then you're going to measure 3.5 centimeters and cut it off there. And then just do the same measurements on the other two sides. So just clarifying, so you want a 3 centimeter, then you've got a 2, and then you've got a 2.5, and then you've got a small 1 centimeter bend over, so that when you collapse the box up, you've got it looking like that. So all you have to do now is do the other two sides. When you're doing the bottom part of the box, you're going to be working in the reverse. So you're going to be doing the 1, and then a 2.5, and then a 2, and then the 3, so that your measurement from that point to the next point is the 34 centimeters that you need. And then you work once again by going the 3 centimeters, 2.5, 2, and then 1. So when you get to this bottom section, or the side sections, fold your cardboard over on one side like that and just mark where it lines up. So as you can see, that's the mark just over there. Then what you want to do is just cut along that line so that this section here is easy to fold, and the same on the other side, cut along that line. Because our corrugation of the cardboard is going in the opposite direction like this, these ones you've got to score at least 2 or 3 times to be able to get a nice clean bend on them. So now that you've got your box all folded and scored, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to join it together. Now you have a look, this is the bottom section of the box, or the side section, where we cut it to make it shorter, and on the long section we're going to be going down from the fold line. You go down 3 centimeters to that section, and then the next one go down 4 centimeters, and then going up to exactly in line with the fold, just go across the whole section to the end of the box, and then go up by 2.5 centimeters and just cut a line there. So we're going to be cutting out all of this section. When you're cutting this one, make sure that you're only cutting the first 2, that you're not going through onto the third one. And then cut along this line where you've got your 3 and your 4 to just in line with the center line here. And then bang that upward. You can cut this one shorter if you would like to. I just need a little bit to work with for now, so I'll probably cut it down a little bit later. The bottom one we're going to just lift up to close the hole at the back, and then this one, so you're going to fold that one and put it inside like that, and then close it all up. So you've got a nice neat corner like that, no holes on the sides, and then just do all 4 corners like that. I'm using hot glue to glue it all together, and I'm starting on the side where we've got all the cutouts, so the one that is completely straight I'm leaving until last. And what I've done is I've folded it and drawn a line so that I know where to glue this. And all I'm going to be doing now is gluing along this section here with the hot glue gun. When you're working with hot glue, just be careful because it's really hot. And the same on the other side. And the small side pieces, which the one's going into the next one and the one that folds over, I'm gluing those together here. Now that we've got them all glued, we can fold the straight edge side over and glue that down as well. So once again, just getting it into place, and then drawing my line so that I know exactly where it's going to glue. And then just join the corners here as well. And the other side, the same. And just so that the sand doesn't all fall out, I'm going to be gluing along the entire box at the base on the inside. Just using the glue gun again. Don't forget to do the corners as well. Now that everything is glued That's what our little box looks like. I'm going to just paint that with Mars Black acrylic paint. Before I get started on making the accessories for my little Zen garden, I just want to point out that nothing is going to be to scale. So everything is just for decoration purposes only. So what I'm using is these little coffee sticks, and I've taken 8 coffee sticks and just cut them in half and lined them up on a piece of paper. And then I'm going to take some hot glue and I'm going to glue one piece across like that to secure all the bottom ones in place. The next thing I'm doing is I'm taking 2 of the sticks and I'm gluing them onto a piece of paper. And I'm doing 3 sets of 2. Then cut them out, and what I'm doing now is I've taken one and I've trimmed it slightly on the one side, and we're going to be sticking that onto the side over here like that. And then just put it on all 4 sides. I put a bit of glue along the back as well and put a tiny piece of wood there so that it can support the next piece that we're going to be putting on. So I'm doing that on all 4 sides. So the little piece looks like that now. Now doing the same thing with the other sticks, what we're going to do is attach them to this section here, but flat like that. For the next lot of sticks, I'm only putting them on 3 sides. So what I've done is I've lined them up because the back is flat, so I'm using the flat piece at the back, and then coming across I've placed the next stick over the side, and then I'm going to just draw a line of a 45 degree, taking it from that point to the end of the sticks so that they join nicely at a 45 degree angle there. I've glued another 6 sticks to the paper so that we can finish off the bottom part of the little platform. I've glued it onto the bottom like that, and now I'm going to do the other 2 sides the same way. I've got a piece of polystyrene packaging and I'm just going to cut a small piece out and shape it into a rock. So I just broke a bit of the polystyrene packaging and glued some pieces together to give me this little rock. And now I'm going to paint that. I've got some white paint and I've got some black paint. I'm just going to mix a little bit to give me 3 different colours. So I've got a dark grey, and now I've got my little rock, and I'm just going to blob colours all over it. And then, wetting my brush quite a lot, I'm just going to blend all these colours together. And then I'm just going to put that aside to dry. I've got this small piece of cement board which I found in the garden, which I'm going to be using to make my little koi pond. I'm not actually going to be showing you exactly how to make it, but I'm going to be painting that black, and then I've just painted some little grey dots on my little piece of cement board, and now I'm just going to highlight it a wee bit. I've added a few of the highlights in, and now I'm just going to wait for that to dry before I paint the fish on. I've painted my little koi on. I've just wrapped a piece of cardboard around the side of my little pond, and I've added some of this little fake grass where it joins together, and now I'm going to be using that UV resin and placing some on the inside. The resin is all dry in the little pond. As you can see, it gives a really nice reflection. And so the last thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be painting a little water lily on it. I've got these expanding foam triggers that were left from a previous project, and I'm going to be using those to make another decoration. So I'm taking 2 of them and then going to just join them together like that, and then cut them here and join them. I've cut the pipes down, and all I did was I took the ruler and I measured it exactly in the middle and then just cut straight up like that to give me the 45-degree angles. And now I'm going to be gluing that together with hot glue and painting it all black. To make the posts, I've just taken one of the large skewers and cut it in half. So it gives you about 14 centimeters. I'll check and see if that's the right height later. Like the feet for my doorway, I've got these medical tongue pressing sticks, and I've cut little squares out of them, so the width is exactly the same, and I've just cut it by 1 centimeter. So I've cut 2 of those and I'm going to paint those black. And for the columns, I'm painting these in black and red. I've got a small piece of packaging which I got from a sweetener container, and I've just painted that red because I'm going to write Sakura on it. So I've googled how to write it in Japanese, so I'll be painting that on there. And I'm probably going to only use about 2 centimeters by 1 centimeter and then cut that out. All my little pieces are dry now, and I'm going to be using hot glue to assemble them. So this one is painted in the red and black, and all I'm going to be doing is taking some hot glue and gluing it inside like that. And the small little pipe that we used from the expanding foam, I'm taking and I'm going to be gluing them onto the base like that to make little feet, just using hot glue. And then just do both of them. I've written Sakura on my little piece, which is 2.6 centimeters long by 1 centimeter. So I'm going to be hanging that up. To attach my little sign, I'm using some jewelry wire, and I'm using a regular round 20 gauge wire, and all I've done is I've wound it 3 times around an object so that I get the same size circle to place in between there to hang them from. I've got a chocolate wrapper which I'm just going to be wrapping around the top part of my little stand. So I've completed my little archway. I've got my little plaque hanging in the center there with Sakura written on it, and I've got the gold around the sides, and difficult for you to see it stand up, but there it's lying down. So I'm using a pink plastic shopping bag, and I'm cutting them, and I'm doing different sizes, so you can do 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters. So I'm cutting out a strip of 4 centimeters, and then I'm just splitting the bag, and now I'm cutting out pieces 4 centimeters. So I've cut out a whole row of 4 centimeters. Just take it, fold it in half, and then half again. And the corner as well. And then just cut your little petal out and cut the tip off. So when you open it out, your petal looks like that. For some of the flowers, I'm leaving them by keeping the double piece together, and the other ones are going to be the single ones. So you'll see there's quite a difference in the color when you look at them. So that's the double with the two pieces together, and this one is the single, so you get quite a nice contrast of the two colors. I'm using these disposable vinyl gloves, so cut the elastic piece on the top of the gloves off 4 centimeters. So I'm just cutting the strip at 4 centimeters and then splitting that open. I'm making a variety of different sizes, so it all depends on what size that I can get out of the fingers. So all the sizes of the flowers are going to be different sizes. So these ones are 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters, so just cut that off and then fold it in half and then half again, and then folding it to make like a little triangle, and then we're just going to cut a petal out of that. You can use a template or you can just eyeball it, and then cut a small tiny piece off at the bottom, and you have a little flower like that. I've got some plastic drinking straws. They're just the very, very thin, fine ones. And what I'm going to do is, it's easy to just hold it in your hand and then just start cutting very, very, very fine little tiny slits in it, and rotating this straw as you're going. So you're just moving it slightly like that. So just cutting. So your straw is like that. Lots of fine little pieces. Now I'm cutting off, I'm going to be cutting it at 3 centimeters. So I'm cutting 3 centimeters off these. And then just split the straw in half. And turn it over so that you've got the cut section towards you, and then just hold it tight, and then just take a pair of scissors and curl the end pieces, not too much. So I'm going to be using these for all the flowers, and then all you want to do is roll it up so that it's a circle or it's closed, so it is like that, like it looks like a little tiny palm tree. And then what we're going to do is take it and insert it into the center of the flower, gluing, and there you have one of the flowers. To make my cherry blossom tree, I've just taken the root of an agave, and I've put a wee bit of cement at the bottom and put some green fake grass there, and then I've just glued on the flowers that we've made. I'm going to be using some of my fake little hedging that I made, and I'm going to be gluing those onto certain places in the little rocks that I made. So I'm going to just be sticking it into the little crevices, not too much, just a little bit in certain places. So I've made a whole heap of extra rocks because my grandkids like to play with all the rocks in the sand. So I'm going to be doing the rocks like that, and then just remember to take all the little threads of glue off as well. Now that I've completed all my little accessories, it's time to assemble it. I'm going to be using this sand which is called soft washed play sand. This one has been dried and sifted twice to get rid of any of the hard pieces, so it's a nice soft white sand. So the first thing I'm going to do is to add the sand. So I've got about 1 kilo of sand here, and then just straighten it out. And now we can start adding the accessories. You can add them into any positions that you want. I'm not gluing any of these down because my grandkids like to always shift everything around, so we're going to be placing this one in as well, and I'm placing this one underneath it. And then I've got my cherry blossom tree. Then we've got the fish pond, or koi pond. And I've got one of these tiny little pagodas, which I'm just going to be placing in there. I've got one of these little rakes. You can add more rocks to it if you want to. I'm quite happy with that, but I might just add one more rock. Just there. There's my little Japanese Zen rock garden completed. So I've got the rocks. You can put whatever pattern on the sand that you want. I like circles, so that's why I've put circles in. So we've got the koi pond. And I just placed the extra 4 rocks that I did on all the corners. If you found this video helpful or you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate it if you would subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.